Let's go back.
We'll keep everything on how Eric expected this one to be. As a continuation on last week's video, is the topics that keep on coming up day in and day out in our real estate business here.
Yeah, I was just thrown off by how much I thought we had good communication ahead of time, but here we are. So anyway, So what we're talking about is just conversations that we have frequently, or we feel that come up frequently, and so I'll hop into what I wanted to talk about. And so one that comes up for me is, and I can think of it just on the last couple of listing appointments that I've had, is what's the expectation for how clean our house is supposed to be? And I frequently will tell people the 2 times that I want your house to be the cleanest is for the photos and for the appraisal, because photos is when everything's going to go online. That's going to be seen all over the internet. Appraisal is when someone's deciding the value of your house. And so those are in my opinion, the 2 of the most important. For open houses, for showings, I want it to look like a model home, but understanding that if you have 30 minutes heads up for a showing, your house might not look perfect. And so then that question is, how good does it need to look for every showing? And I'm curious your guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah, I tell people, I just told one of my clients this. I said, clean like your grandma's coming to judge, and then clean a little bit more, and then you're good.
And then a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, as clean as possible, but you can't change a home from what it is, if it's a little rough around the edges or something. But we go through the walkthrough as we're talking about a listing, and we'll kind of point stuff out. But, man, cobwebs and corners of areas, every last dish in every last cabinet is not important. The corner that has the hair sitting in it, or, the garage that is just disgusting floor. Although garages are kind of off limits to having to be perfect, there's still that presence that it has to feel good. Like, how does it feel when you look in this corner? I'll say, if you ever have a question, like, look back at it and take a picture of it. How does it look from there? So
that's very good. Take a picture of it and then look at it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to notice things that, oh man, that is either that looks really good, or that definitely needs to move. Yeah. That's a really good one. Those are 2 great dates, Eric, because one, our job is to get people through the door, and then the house is really going to sell it. I think one thing to keep in mind, though, is how clean does it need to be? Now, we preview nearly every single new listing in our area.
Yes.
In that way, I mean, we're in thousands of homes every single year, and we can speak intelligently about this, of kind of what is acceptable in today's market, what we're seeing, and we had a completely blunt, honest conversation with a listing agent one time after, I called her up, and I'm like, him or her up, and I said, hey, about to give some feedback here in what's going on with the listing here. And she just kind of laughed. He or she laughed. And she knew it was going to be, she knew it was just in awful shape. It was dirty, everything like that. She goes, but you should have seen it 6 weeks ago. So, I mean, the differential of who's clean is what clean, that's such a variable. But I think as clean as it possibly can be, and that's really just sweat equity. That's just a little bit of effort right there that usually doesn't cost much, So some good Fabuloso, wipe it down, make it smell good. It'll go a really, really long way.
And it does make a difference. That first impression is such a big deal. But like Eric said, people do understand when you're living in a house, during showings. People get it. And especially there's grace if you have kids. But all that, included, it's just as clean as you can. I mean, it's gonna be tiresome. It's going to be irritating when every single showing you're doing a full house clean, but it's going to be worth it.
Pro tip, if you've got young kids, pack away most of their stuff in storage and put one bin out. And then that's the easy thing to do. They don't need 95% of their toys. Pack them away, and if you have one of those annoying little noisemakers, lose that in the move. But it's kind of a pro tip of make your job a little bit easier.
One of the benefits of buying a house.
Yeah, exactly.
You lose the annoying toys.
Yeah. What are you seeing come up, Tommy?
Oh, I get a lot of questions about what's the market like, but what's the market like now compared to what it was a few years ago? Whether you're a seller that's like, hey, am I going to get 5 offers in the first week? I'm like, Well, it's not quite like that, like it was when you purchased 5 years ago or 4 years ago.
Depends on what you're selling.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, for sure. But there's a lot of questions about, what should I expect as a seller or what should I expect as a buyer? I just went through this with a buyer as well of like, hey, 4 years ago when we were at this showing, there would have been 5 or 6 other people here at the same time. Now it's just us. So you've got more than 3 hours to make your decision. You don't have to make this decision tonight. Let's talk about it tomorrow morning. So just kind of managing those expectations of like, hey, it's not 2021. It's a little different, but
it's 2026,
which is really kind of nice.
Time to think.
yeah, absolutely.
For me, it's interest rates. A lot of conversations about interest rates, whether it's I'm currently at X rate or don't want to sign up for this rate. So curious your guys' thoughts on that as far as feedback.
Do you know what interest rates are going to do?
Exactly. Are they going to go down? Yeah, they're going to go up, and then they're going to go down, and they're going to go up. I promise.
Yeah. When we're coming up with topics to talk about, someone said, "Oh, interest rates." More like not interesting rates. And we say that kind of jokingly, but it's I got to be more
on the ball with
these hi hats over here. But exactly right. I mean, it is a topic that is kind of a fact of life. It is something that if you're going to get a mortgage, you're going to have an interest rate. And it has to break down. Does it make sense for you to do that? Can you afford it? If I'm looking at a seller and how to answer that, or a buyer, I should say, is if the interest rate is the main driver of affordability, you might not be a home buyer right now, and that's fine. We don't want to, or a quarter point is the difference of being a home buyer or not. Meaning your margins are razor thin. That does not create a great feeling when you're, when an emergency does happen when you're a home buyer, or you're a homeowner, I should say. So I think have that conversation. You're exactly right. They're going to go down. They're going to go up. They're going to be flatlined. We do not have a crystal ball. If we did, we wouldn't be sitting here. So when I answer that is, you're going to break it down and put out the budget, and the market is going to adjust what the market's going to adjust. But what the interest rates have done is they've switched up the pace. Like you said, it's not 2021 anymore, but there are plenty of sellers that think it should be, and there's plenty of buyers that think it should be 2009. Both are not true. It is 2026.
And I've seen some people that are willing to leave those interest rates as they're looking at new homes at leaving a 2.5% rate to go and buy something at 6.5%. So we're starting to have those conversations.
Yeah, I mean, you only live once, right? So if you're skipping a chapter of your life because of your interest rate, I'd recommend you reflect on that a little bit. Yeah. If you're outgrown your house, or you're not ready to go to the lake place because of that, you only get to do it once, man. So it's not a sales conversation or anything of like, do it now because that's how we get paid. It's do it when the time is right, because it's the only time it's going to be right, and you're going to wish you would have done it sooner. So,
yep. An agent friend of mine, Eric Peterson, I'll give him a shout out on this one. We always talk about the ROE instead of the ROI, return on experience. Maybe you did outgrow that house. Maybe you want to move to a lake. Maybe you're getting something with a pool. Those are all things that you do live. You only do it once. Not to say that is the biggest motivator, but it's something to be considered. I'm just like, yep, can we make this work? Yeah, that's how I talk about interest rates. I don't get too caught up in it, whether they're 6.5 or 6 or 7.
Yeah, and part of it too is you get into the scenario of so focused on that percentage number that you talk yourself out of buying. You can buy down the rate if a different rate makes sense. Maybe you were going to pay $400 for the house, and now you're going to pay $395 for it, and take that extra $5,000 and buy down a rate or something. There's behind the scenes way that you can feel good about it if you have to feel good about it.
Yeah.
And you're only probably going to be in that next house for what's the average time for someone in a house?
I think
7?
11.
I think it's up to 11. It used to be 7. It's up to 11 now.
So, I mean, it's in itself still temporary in the big picture. And in terms of interest rates going up and down, they fluctuate. But if you look at a graph of homes and what they do for appreciation, there's dips here and there, but it goes this way.
Yeah.
So you're still on the winning end.
I just looked at a graph over the last like 75 years, and there's only, I think it was 3 years out of the last 75 that housing prices actually went down. Now a lot of them, they only went up a tiny bit.
Sure.
Or in the last 5 years, an exorbitant amount, but really only 3 years in the last 75 years. I mean, it's a very safe, appreciation.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I get all those questions. And if you're actually one of the questions I get, what is it like to be an agent? I look at it, I wear a little bit of a different hat. I'm the broker here. I always give that answer. What I always tell people, it's not HGTV. That's for sure. There are people that are going to see more than 3 houses, and they're not going to pick a single one. I've shown a customer about 58 houses, and they haven't. You were at an open house this weekend. What was it? What was that?
Had a couple come through and really liked the house. I'm like, so what'd you think? Anything you'd change? This is house number 53 that we've seen. This one's pretty good though. I'm like, oh, I think you need to build one.
Yeah, absolutely. So that in a nutshell is pretty much real estate.
Yeah.
Expect the unexpected. And boy, don't even knock on a piece of wood if you say, well, I've seen everything and I would never be shocked again because you were about to get hit by a train.
Right.
But I think that's a good conversation, little opening for all of us. One, I think it's really great. And I think it's been an entertaining way to help educate people is through the experience and through the experience of other people. And again, if you've got a question that is just burning or an experience, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to talk about it on one of our next videos. Anybody have some final words?
I don't.
No.
way to finish it up.
Tommy has final word.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right, well, let's wrap it up.
All right. You can always find us at NorthstarProRealty.com.